Pratima, Dr. Pratima is an associate professor in the Department of Pharmacology at JSS Medical College, where she has been serving for over 12 years. She has earned her PhD in 2019 for research on colorectal cancer biology and currently serves as a member secretary of Institutional Ethics Committee. She has authored over 30 publications, received national awards, and leads funded research projects while actively mentoring undergraduate and postgraduate students, including ICMR supported work. Her areas of interest include cancer research, research ethics, preclinical drug evaluation, geriatric pharmacology, and antibiotic stewardship. Thank you, ma'am. Session over to you.
Thank you, sir, for your brief introduction. Much time, I'll just go ahead with my presentation. Yeah, my topic today for today's session is on ethics and challenges in clinical trials. So from the morning you have heard about the clinical trials, the phases, how it will be done, the various nuances involved and all. So before doing any trial, as you know, ethical aspects, you have to monitor or you have to follow certain regulations and rules which are laid down by the regulatory authorities and the ethical principles. Okay, so we'll just go through briefly about these important aspects. And this ethics is not different. These ethics are nothing, ethical values are something not only in clinical trial, they are in our regular day-to-day practice, as you know, in our daily lives also. They are nothing but the moral principles which guide us, okay, the virtues which we follow in life. So, yeah. So these ethics are the rules or standards which govern the conduct of research with respect to the clinical trials. So they are to be followed at all the stages, from the birth, means from the initiation of the study till the end of the study. Each stage is very, very important. You cannot leave ethics separately, or you cannot forfeit these regulations. Okay, so from the stage of planning to the implementation, data collection, analysis, okay, interpretation and publication of the research, whatever has been done. Coming to the Institutional Ethics Committee, which is the body which overlooks into these ethical principles and the conduct of your, or the, which provides approval for the conduct of the clinical trials or the research. So Institutional Ethics Committee, it's an independent body. So I stress this very importantly, independent body, formed by an institution, hospital or research center, or there can be independent ethics committees as well. They are multidisciplinary, multi-sectorial in constitution, consisting of both medical as well as non-medical professionals and scientific as well as non-scientific members. The main purpose of this ethics committee is to review and approve all types of research proposals submitted to the ethics committee from the institute or outside the institute also, within 50-kilometer radius from that ethics committee, for conducting the clinical studies as well as the academic studies. So it can provide approval for both trials, that is clinical trial, as well as the academic studies, that is your student initiated as well as PA initiated trials. So ethics committee, to monitor these ethics committees, there are many ethics committees all over. So Government of India has made mandatory to register these ethics committee under CDSCO. So you know what is that? So it is Central Drug Standard Control Organization. From 2013, it is mandatory, the registration by the Office of Drug Controller General of India, DCGI, which is the licensing authority under MHRD. So even the registration for the biomedical research, that is your student-centered academic studies also, it has to be done under DHR. Okay, so DHR is Department of Health and Research, so which is the registration under NECR BHR. So for conducting the research related to the biomedical and health research. Why is this IEC? So wherever I go, I just put this weighing balance, because here in the ethics committee we are balancing many things. We are balancing the in the research proposal the risks involved against the benefit. Okay, so we want to balance, we want to justify the risks whatever is taken in the or the interventions which is done on the participants against the benefit which you are going to reap from that clinical trials. So for the sake of advancement of science versus the protection of the participants, or what we call the participants are called as subjects. Okay, the human participants who are who are enrolled in the study are called as subjects. So basically we safeguard, we tell it as RSW here, that is rights, safety, well-being, okay, and also the dignity of the involved research participants is very, very important. It has to be balanced against the advancement of the science what you are proposing from your research proposal. So which are the guidelines what I was telling? So I think a separate session has been there, so I will not go into much details. So in India or throughout the world, also we follow ICH GCP guidelines, and India also we have, it has got its own Indian GCP guidelines. So what is GCP here? GCP I have known as, you know about is good clinical practice. Okay, so ICH GCP and Indian GCP guidelines, and we have got NDCT guidelines, that is New Drug and Clinical Trial Guidelines 2019. So there are different chapters for conducting the, how it will, for different purposes, like for clinical trials, for ethics committee and all. So NDCT 2019 guidelines are laid out, which are the set of rules and regulations to be followed in trials which are done in India. Okay. Likewise, different countries have got their own different guidelines. So it's if it is a multi-centric trial, those these multi-centric trials, they have to comply with the guidelines of those particular countries. Okay. In India, we have to comply with NDCT guidelines. Okay. And for biomedical and academic research, ICMR has laid out the National Ethical Guidelines for Biomedical Health and Research Involving Human Participants, that is 2017, and many amendments have come. Likewise, so this is the that is booklet, and even for the involving children also there is a separate booklet. And during COVID also they released a separate information booklet, a brochure for the conduct of clinical trials, ICMR. So what is the composition of the ethics committee? Coming at the ethics committee again, so what is the composition? I told you it is multi-sectorial, okay, and multidisciplinary. So ethics committee will have basically a chairperson and a member secretary. Okay, chairperson should be a person outside the institute, external person. He should not be affiliated with the institute. Okay, earlier it was like the person who is the head of the institute used to be the chairperson of the ethics committee. Now clearly the rules are laid out that the chairperson should not be affiliated with the institute. So he is an external person, while the member secretary who is responsible for all the administrative work, okay, or maintenance of the clinical trials, then approval process, everything. So member secretary is the one who does all the work related to the ethics committee. Then we will have 1 or 2 basic medical scientists. Basic medical scientists with basic degree, at least one of them should be pharmacologists, medical pharmacologists. Then 1 or 2 clinicians from different specialities. Okay, and at least one legal expert or a retired judge in the team, and 1 social scientist, 1 philosopher, ethicist or theologian, and 1 layperson minimum. Layperson and social scientist, they should not be affiliated to the institute. They should be external person. And minded, at any point of time, 50% of the person should be outside the institute, not affiliated, and 50, okay, and there should be at least 1 women member in the team. And for the approval of the clinical trial, what we call it, there is something called as quorum. Okay, for any meeting their quorum should be met, then only it is valid. If the quorum is not met, then it is not a valid meeting to be considered. Okay, so a quorum will consist of a chairman, member secretary, apart from it 1 lay person, 1 basic medical scientist, 1 legal person, and a clinician minimum. Okay, so to meet the requirements of a quorum. So division of duty. So what are the basic responsibilities of these persons who are in the ethics committee? So legalities, the issues of legalities that is related to the clinical trial agreements, insurances, MOUs, okay, and other claims related like the liabilities, etc. They will be looked upon by the legal expert in the team, okay. Then the social issues, social and cultural religious aspects which are involved in that particular trial. So if you are doing on a particular cultural issues or the certain custom and beliefs issues and all, so that has to be looked out by the social scientist. Okay, how it is going to impact the society, their belief system. Okay, then the general issues like informed consent, risk benefit analysis. Okay, the translated certificates, etc. They will be looked upon by the lay person. Okay, lay person is a common man representative who is sitting in a ethics committee. So he will not look into the whole protocol in the view of a researcher. He will look it from the point of a participant. Okay, so he will not understand the medical terminologies. That's why you should not be from a medical background. That's why we use the term lay person. Then the special concerns. So for special concerns, anything like, for example, you are doing an oncology trial, if you are doing a cardiology trial or some HIV related studies or psychiatric trial, so you can call person who is specialized in that particular area. So if your specialty is outside, like it's not within your purview, you can invite. So invited subject experts can also be participate in a approval of a clinical trial. They can not in approval, they can provide their expert opinions. Okay, in that help in the approval process. But final call, that is the voting process, will be done only by the members, IEC members. So who sits in the IEC meeting? So at least usually the ethics committee, they will consist of 7 to 15 members. Okay, at least one women representative, as I told you, and 50% of non-affiliated members. So to meet a minimum quorum, I told you what all should be. So chairperson, member secretary. So IEC at all point of time should demonstrate these basic principles, that is independence. Even though it is an institution ethics committee, they should have that authority or they should have all the rights to take independent decision without any coercion. They should not have any influence of political, institutional, professional, market. Okay, and competency. All members should be sufficiently competent enough to take decisions and provide opinions. Efficiency, consistency, and more than that, they should have sufficient time to spare to look into the proposal, to give opinions. Okay, right. So responsibilities of every EC members is to provide competent and comprehensive review of the proposal. They should give their suggestions, opinions, and any feedbacks. Review objectively, free from bias and external influences. They should maintain total confidentiality. So this is very, very important. They have to sign the confidentiality agreement. Okay, and even the conflict of interest agreement. They don't have any conflict of interest with whatever proposals they are going to be discussed. And confidence, they should, all the details should be confidentially maintained. Okay. Documents and privacy also, even when they are conducting the trial. Advise the researcher on all aspects of welfare and safety of research participants and declare conflict of interest, as I told you. So key functioning of ethics committee. So ethics committee functions according to the policies and SOP, that is the standard operating procedure. Each committee will have its own SOP framed and it will be updated time based, okay, on as per the requirement. It will be amended, new versions will come up, and they will be trained periodically as and when required. And ethics committee formation, so usually earlier it used to be for 3 years. The validity of the CDSCO will provide will give approval for the ethics committee members, like these are the members which are approved for this particular ethics committee. Earlier it was 3 years, now it is 5 years. Excuse me. So ethics committee formation, conduct of meeting, and maintaining the quorum. Ethics committee reviews this process, documents the minutes, monitoring and audits of the ongoing trials have to be done. Checklists and templates have to be maintained and check. You should check whether the coordinators are on par with the required standards and all. administration and management aspects have to be looked into, and maintenance of documents and records with archival mechanism. Okay, so minimum they should, all ethics committee, after the closure of a trial, they should maintain document for minimum 5 years. At any point of time, a DCJ inspectors can come, or if you are going for the quality accreditations like NABH and all, even the NABH assessors can come and ask for the closed out trial documentation as well. So whenever they are sitting in a meeting and reviewing, what kind of reviews can happen? Full board review depends upon the kind of research. Okay, I tell you that high risk in one's research, they will go for full board review. Exemption from review and exemption for consent, expedited review, and review in special settings, continuing review. Okay, so all this, if you want to give exemption from review, you cannot decide. If you are an investigator, you cannot decide. It's a prerogative of a ethics committee members to tell, yes, this trial can be exempted, or this particular research can be exempted, and you can just submit and we'll give an approval with few modifications if required. So what all will the members look into in this is, one is the scientific merit of a study. So what is the scientific validity? So there is a scientific validity checklist only, which will give you list of things like about a trial. Favorable risk benefit assessment. Risk benefit assessment have to be done and have to be placed. So whether it is high risk, low risk, high benefit, low benefit. Okay. Then subject selection. How are they going to select the subjects? What mechanisms they are following to recruit the participants? Respect for enrolled persons. So how they are maintaining the rights, safety, well-being, dignity of the individuals, what aspects have to be looked into. So these are the things again in detail I have mentioned. So apart from scientific validity, risk benefit, so documentation, privacy and confidential, vulnerable population, will come to it. Then equitable selection, informed consent, community concerns, recruitment materials. Recruitment materials means advertisements or pamphlets, or how we are going to recruit the participants. So what are the cardinal principles of ethics? So these are the basic cardinal principles everybody should know. I think you will be aware of. Autonomy. Autonomy is the voluntariness, means ability to decide. The person who is going to be enrolled in the study, he should give free will consent. Yes, I am going to participate in this study without any coercion. Nobody is telling me, yes, somebody is coming and telling me, hey, enroll for this study, this is very good, I have enrolled. No, that's not the way. So they should give free will consent, voluntariness, that is autonomy, at their own will. Beneficence. Beneficence means at any point of time, the trial should there should be fairness and correct in action. Whatever study is approved, whatever proposal is approved, they should conduct the study in the same manner. Okay, and take positive steps to prevent any harm. So non-maleficence means do no harm. Okay, should do no harm, do good. Then justice. Justice means especially in enrollment, there should be fair in enrollment. Okay, distributive justice should be there. Fair for the participants and priority to prioritize their needs and safety over the advancement of research at any point of time. And they should take all the mechanism to minimize the risk involved. All possible measures have to be taken to minimize the known risk. So these are some of the principles of ICMR. I tell you some important, there are 13 ICMR principles, guidelines. Some of the important ones are the principle of essentiality. Essentiality means the whatever trial you are doing, it's very much essential that human participants or particular set of people, special people have to be recruited. Like for example, if you want to market a particular drug or a particular vaccine for a pediatric population, then definitely you should have done a trial on a pediatric population. Okay? That after considering all other alternatives available, it appears that use of human participants is very much essential. The use of special population, psychiatric persons, pregnant women for RSV vaccine trial, respiratory syncytial virus. Yeah, definitely it has to be done before giving the vaccine to the normal pregnant women. Okay, so likewise, the trial essentiality has to be adequately justified. Then principle of voluntariness. Principle of voluntariness, where the participant will participate freely, and they should not only they have the authority to participate, they have all rights to withdraw from the study at any point of time. Okay, So that agreement will be there, and they will be signing that, and they should give free will informed consent. Okay, we tell it as informed consent. Why? Because it is not like I'm telling you and sign the document. No, they will get a document in their own vernacular language. Like if it's a Tamil speaking population, they will get it in Tamil. Kannada speaking population, they will get it in Kannada if they don't understand English. Okay, they have to go through everything and clarify their doubts. If they don't understand anything, it's the responsibility of the principal investigator to clarify all the doubts at all point of time and make sure that they understand every details there in the informed consent about the procedure, about the risks involved, about the benefits involved and all, and finally they sign the document. That's why it is informed consent document, informed consent process. Okay, where the person cannot read and write, I think that is covered. Then they will, or if it's children, then if you cannot read and write, is uneducated, then he will take an impartial witness. Okay, in case of persons who are not attained their majority, like child population, pediatric population and all, they will have legally acceptable representative. The parents, acceptable representative, legally acceptable one, they will sign on their behalf. Apart from it also, the child can or should give verbal consent. Okay, less than 7 years, above 7 to 12 years, even the written consent and all. So, principle of ensuring privacy and confidentiality. So, whereby the participant's identity means any matter related to the participant should not be disclosed, okay, to people outside the trial. Means those who are involved in the trial only, they should know the details, and at no point of time the details should be disclosed. That's why keeping those records in a very safe place where only authorized persons have access is very, very important. Okay, so authorized access is very important, and the certain exceptions for this confidentiality or for breaching the privacy and confidentiality are there, like when the person is known to have suicidal ideation, okay, or homicidal ideation, or when required by the court or the law, or required by the law. Okay, that time you can breach the confidential information. Principle of professional competence and risk minimization. Yeah, whoever are there in the team, the principal investigator, co-investigator, all the study coordinators, team coordinators, they should be competent enough. They should have adequate experience, okay, training and competency to handle that particular trial. Okay, the research, so that research goes in a well-planned manner, and so the research will be conducted, evaluated and monitored by all those persons. Okay, so they should take all the care to minimize the risk and give appropriate care when required. Okay, and also in case whenever there is any harm done, they should know about the compensation mechanism also. Okay, if it's an adverse event, it's okay, they have to give a medical management, ancillary care will be given. But if it appears to be a serious adverse event, okay, they have to report to the authorities. Okay, so there is a portal, Sugam portal, where they have to upload all the required documents in a particular format. Okay, they should know about all these mechanisms and how to calculate the compensation if required, and they have to intimate the required authorities, like within 24 hours they have to intimate the ethics committee, the sponsors and all. So they have to submit a 24-hour report and 14th-day report, and from the EC, ethics committee also will submit a 30th-day report via the Sugam portal if in case of any SAE occurs. That is serious adverse event. Principle of non-exploitation. Yeah, this is very, very important, whereby participants are equitably selected. They should, first of all, they should be selected in an equitable manner. And vulnerable population, we should be very, very careful. Vulnerable who have got diminished autonomy. People with diminished autonomy, they cannot take decisions on their own for their own self. The children, the pregnant women, geriatric population, psychiatric persons, okay, the war prisoners, okay, jail inmates, refugees, all these they come under the vulnerable population with diminished, those who cannot take a decision for their own, diminished autonomy. So there also you have to be very careful, and extra documentation will be required. So which kind of research proposal? Okay, you have came to know about all these things, which kind of research proposal should be submitted to the ethics committee. So if you have done a study at a student level, you have done a study, you will not know that ethics committee clearance have to be taken. You go for a publication, that time they will ask, where is your ethics committee certificate? Then you will come to know that, oh, I have to take an ethics committee certificate, now let me do, what shall I do? I will go to the ethics committee and request them. So that kind of post-conduction approval are not to be, will not be appreciated and not to be given. Okay? Always, before planning any kind of trial, definitely clinical trials, they will go through that mechanism, like ethics committee, and then only initiation of a trial will happen. But the problem with the academic trials, this is the problem with the academic trials. So any kind of trials, it may be involving the pharmaceuticals, devices, medical imaging, surgical procedure, records related, patient records only you are accessing, biological samples, okay, epidemiological studies, social, psychological investigation, any kind of, or even a simple case reports, you want to report. So your ethics committee approval will be required. If not required, if an exemption can be provided, so all clinical research, I will advise you to take the opinion of an ethics committee. If it is exempted, if it's not required, then it's a prerogative. Ethics committee member secretary or somebody will advise you how to go about. Okay, but don't try for a post-conduction approval mechanisms. So this is the list of documents. It's a very elaborative list which will be submitted by a person who is planning to conduct an EC ethics, the clinical trial. So that is called as EC dossier, in the form of an EC dossier. It's a very big booklet. All of you should know, should look into all these documents. At least it is a very confidential document. Actually, those who are involved in the trial only will be having access to it. But for the study purpose, at least those which are masked ones you can look into. So the DCG approval, that is a regulatory approval, is mandatory. That is the DCG approval in India, mandatory to conduct the trials in India. Okay, it may be a BABA study, any kind of study. Okay, so this DCG approval or the application to the DCG, if you have submitted an application and you are awaiting the response, that also is acceptable for the initial meeting. Okay, then CTRI, all the clinical trials have to be registered under the registry of India. It's called CTRI, Clinical Trial Registry of India, and they will provide a unique CTRI number, okay, for each trial or a research study. Then clinical trial protocol. So whatever study is there, the protocol will have its own protocol ID with version, dates and all, details of the sponsors. ICF, that is informed consent documents. Okay, you have to take an informed consent from the patient. So informed consent document with the with the different 3 other vernacular, the same informed consent given in a 3 other vernacular language with translation and back translation certificates. So this is very mandatory, at least for the initial approval. Then IB, investigator brochure. So IB is the one document which contains the details of all the product related information about the previous, what research is done about this product. Okay, about that product. Like for example, if you are doing a phase 3 trial, the IB will contain information about the phase 1 trial, preclinical studies. You know, preclinical means what? Before coming out for the clinical studies, they would have done the experiments on the cell-based or the animals and all. They are called as preclinical. Preclinical data details will be there in the IB. And also the phase 1 trial details, phase 2 trial details, etc. Majorly you have to focus about the efficacy and safety matters here. Then the CRF, case report forms. Case report forms, CV of the investigator. So investigator competency has to be assessed by with the help of CV of an investigator, GCP training certificate, and his MRP, that's medical registration certificate, has to be there. Then insurance details. So I told you, if the kind of any injuries happen, you have to compensate. So all patients, they should be covered under insurance. Okay. Then clinical trial agreement. So clinical trial agreement between the sponsor, the institute and the contract research agent, CRA. So it can be tripartite or sometimes quadripartite agreement and all. Okay, then investigator undertaking. Investigator undertaking, whoever are there like PI, co-PIs, co-PIs and all, they have to sign a investigator undertaking. So this is the CTRI, this portal. So it was set up by the National Institute of Medical Statistics, ICMR, launched on 2007. So it's a free and online system for registering all trials, even your research, clinical research. You can upload the documents and get a CTRI number. So nowadays for publication, not only ethics committee approval letters are asked, even the CTRI numbers are asked. Okay? And here also you cannot give it, you cannot do it retrospectively. You should get the CTRI number prospectively only. So I just advise all of you who are planning for any clinical research, you should get IEC approval and also get the CTRI number. It's very simple. It's very free and online portal only. You can get your unique CTRI number for your research. So now I was just telling about the full board review, everything and all, and risk benefit assessment and all. So what are the kinds of risk that you can see in a research? Okay, so this is the classification, how we classify while assessing the risk involved. So less than minimal risk, more than minimal risk. So more than minimal risk, also called as high risk, we place them under. So for less than, why do we classify like this? Its importance is for less than minimal risk, if it is only where there are no identifiers, patient identifiers, okay, and the intervention is very minimal, then what we can do is we will give exemption for the meeting or the EC meeting approval mechanisms, okay. Then minimal risk, only minimal interventions are there, okay, and more than minimal risk. So at any point of time after assessing the risk, the benefit assessment has to be justified. Always you try to balance these risks involved, that is side effects and tolerability, has to be assessed against the benefit which is being proposed. So you should not only look at the physical risk that is happening, you should also take into consideration the psychological, social, legal and economical discomforts, whatever harm or discomfort that is going to be posed by the research. So why this risk is important? I told you, risk is high risk proposals, we take them for the full board meetings that will be discussed in the full board meeting with all the members, okay, where we call the principal investigator to give a brief presentation. He will justify his research, okay, and clarify any points or doubts which are posed by the members, raised by the members, and finally the decision will be made. Minimal or less than minimal risk proposals, usually they are the ones for exemption or waiver, and decision of a committee, whatever is there after the meeting, it will be communicated to the PI usually within 1 week, and approval letters will be issued to them. If any revision has to be made, if one of the study, if we tell it as revision, then they have to submit in the next meeting. So full board meeting in studies, as I told you, for more than minimal risk, involving interventions and vulnerable and special group population. The studies involving vulnerable special group population, always the risks are more. Remember, if you are doing on pediatric population, geriatric, psychiatric, always the risk will be considered as high risk only. So exemption from review. So there are certain research, like for example, there are no linked identifiers. You are doing on a public, taking a data from public domain, from the internet, where there are no linked identifiers. The person is not identified. There is a very low risk ones. And case reports. Case reports, mind it, you have to mask the patient. If you are putting a photographs, if you are putting a details, demographic details, etc., you have to mask that, and it should not be identifiable. Quality assurance, quality control audits at an institute level or in educational practices, okay, like example curricular based assessments or institutional techniques based assessments, that will have very minimal risk. Consumer acceptance studies, all these they are placed under minimal risk. And one more important thing I want to tell you about the biological specimens are, whenever you are doing handling a biological specimens, you want, like for example, I did a study on colorectal cancer, a PhD study. So I have to take samples if I am sending else for the investigation. So I want to get some staining done, from paraffin blocks being done or anything done. So there is a very important rule here. You have to take a material transfer agreement. Okay, and if you are transferring a sample outside the country, especially in the post-COVID, this become very strict. You have to take HMSC clearance. If the people from outside the country, they are coming over here for any kind of research and doing any kind of research, then this Health Ministry Screening Committee clearance have to be taken. HMSC clearance and MTA. This is one thing I wanted to highlight here regarding the biological specimens. So after this, all these things are done, decision, I told you, decision will be, one of it will be the decision like approved with suggestions, resubmit or rejections. Rejections are not approved. Coming to the challenges involved. So EC, apart from its functioning mechanisms, will have lot of challenges to face. Even the PI level, there are a lot of challenges. Each study is different. Whatever proposal, because each proposal will be different, each ethical challenges will be different, each study, the conduct will be different, okay, the challenges will be different. That's why it is very, very important the coordinators should be adequately trained. They should understand the protocol very well. Okay, they should have competency, and it's very ideal, especially if a very high risk study is there, very complicated study, trained coordinators should be there, or otherwise you get a training, sufficient training. Okay, so for all the budding professionals, I'm telling you, this is a very upcoming challenging field. It's very it's got lot of potential. Okay, so you have to get trained and sufficiently understand all the regulations involved, all the ethical principles involved, okay, all the terminologies, and more than that, if you are taking up any trial proposal, you should understand that proposal in detail. If there are any new terminologies, especially the medical terminologies, some will not outside your specialty, okay, you should know the definitions of that terminologies, what it means, okay, all these things, knowing about the proposal is very, very important, right? So the review challenges. So what are the review challenges posed by the EC and the investigator team is, EC especially the scientific assessment of scientific validity. Okay, sometimes the trial will not be scientifically valid only. So ethics committee will not only look into the ethical principles, but also the scientific validity part also. Even though the sponsors give a very long proposal, very big bundles of DC dossiers, simple questions cannot be answered here regarding the scientific validity and all. Okay, that's a very challenging thing. Assessment of risk benefit, time needed. Okay, then the subject experts, they are usually subject experts outside the institute are preferred. Okay, they have to give expert opinions, and knowing all the languages about and they have to understand the informed consent process. Okay, the lay persons are the ones who are involved with the reviewing the informed consent documents, and apart from even the member secretary and all can review the informed consent. Okay, informed consent document should contain all the details of the proposal, all the risks involved, benefit involved, compensations. Okay, so informed consent review have to be properly done, and pressure to approval will always be there, but it's not fair to put a pressure on the AC. Conflict of interest challenges. Certain things are very vague and no clear guidelines about the financial conflicts which are there. If a close friend, like example, if a close friend of an EC member is presenting, then definitely it's a conflict of interest. Then you cannot, it's very difficult. Okay. Then if subject expert is within the organization, is that a conflict? So that's why it's better to take a subject expert outside the institute. If there are any signs of conflict of interest, then better to stay away from voting for that member. The EC member should stay away from voting mechanism. They should declare the conflict of interest prior to the meeting itself, and they should not be involved in the approval mechanism. Study done for commercial and marketing intent and trial done in the same hospital as PI will amount to conflict. Okay, organization as commercial interest, again it is a conflict. So EC itself, usually EC will contain only minimal members, but the responsibilities are huge. Okay, the responsibilities are huge. Whenever the auditors come, NABH inspectors or DCG inspectors, they look into each and every details, and they have got varied amount of questions, hell lot of questions posed to the EC, but definitely the manpower, the resources provided to EC always will be limited. Okay, so especially in the terms of site monitoring visits, site monitoring has to be conducted regularly. It has to look into various details because each trial is different at each point of time. Okay, SAE visits have to happen whenever there is protocol deviations have to be looked into. Okay, then continued review should be there. Okay, then protocol deviation, sometimes they will not be reported, late reporting. Whenever sponsor audits happen, they report the protocol deviations. All these things will happen in regular practice. And issues of SAE. So SAE, I told you, have to be uploaded in the portal, that is called a Sugam portal. Okay, so have to be uploaded within 24 hours and within 14 days by the PI, and 30th day report by the EC. So if there is delay in uploading, again that will be a query, there will be a query. Okay, the timely uploading is very, very much required, and follow up, especially if there is any compensation involved. If you write a letter to DCGI, there will be no response. Okay, DCGI may show no response to those, then what action should be taken by the EC? Because the sponsors will not agree to provide compensation unless it is verified by the DCGI, right? Then managing of ownership or commercialization of product, EC review charges, definitely many will be pending. Those who are in the EC will agree with my statements. So for the better understanding, I have put some case scenarios, only few things I will discuss, and I will put some questions into your head also, so that it will be more interactive. So this was one of a thing which made one of a article which made a headlines in the recent past. Okay, a senior oncologist at I should have asked this. The HCG Bangalore is a part of an institution ethics committee. This has come up in the paper itself. Okay, newspaper only. A clinical trial sponsored by major pharmaceutical company proposes a new immunotherapy drug for an oncology trial, and trial to be conducted at the institute, and same oncologist is listed as the principal investigator. Okay. So here the major issue, what is the major issue here? Major issue is conflict of interest, because PI himself, okay, is there, is doing a dual role. If he is a PI, he should not participate in the meeting and in the approval mechanism. Here what has happened, he has become a reviewer himself, ethics reviewer, as well as he is a PI himself. So there is a clear conflict of interest, and financial or reputational benefits will be biased, okay, will be biasing the ethical judgment. Independent decision cannot be taken. So what should have happened? So as I told you, they should stay away from the voting mechanism, and they should disclose their conflict of interest prior to the EC meeting. An independent member or external member could have been invited to avoid this bias, and definitely transparency, regular audits, monitoring should be done. And this is one very common problem with many ECs. Compensation process, delay in compensations. It may be from the sponsor end or from the DCGI approval non-response and all. So when this is related to the SAE. So whenever SAEs occur, there is a formula for calculating how much compensation have to be paid. Okay, depending upon the severity and the kind of SAE and the how many days of this loss of pay has occurred and all. Okay, so even after writing to the DCGI, there may be no response. It may be because of many reasons, the administrative blockade or anything, but it's a responsibility of EC to put repeated mails to the DCGI. Then only you are safer. Okay, if a NABH assessor comes or DCGI assessor comes, then they may question, you have put one mail and kept quiet. Why you should have put a repeated mails to remind them? One fine day an email may prop up, or one letter you may get from a DCGI. Okay, so after a long wait. Then compensation academic trial. So this is something what not all will know, or not many of the PIs will know. Even in an academic trial, if there is any injury, okay, if any injury or harm has occurred, which we term as SAE, then adequate compensation to be provided. Who should provide the compensation? Because academic study we don't provide, you don't take insurance and all. There is no sponsor. It is a PI initiated trial. So it is ideal an institute should have a corpus, or a corpus should be set aside. So in case of any compensation claim comes, they can be addressed through that corpus fund, which is set aside only for that purpose, okay, research purpose, right. As per the ICMR and CDSCO guidelines, all participants are entitled to take the compensation for trial related injuries regardless who funds the trial. It is not like only a pharmaceutical company sponsored trial they can give the compensation, no. So if you are doing any, for example, if you are doing any intervention, you want to check some new kind of suture mechanism, simple, a suture, different kind of suture or some different kind of drug on a patient, some mishap happened. So if it's proved it is from your intervention, then after the causality assessment, so before ascertaining that and it is an SAE for that from that particular intervention only, you will do causality assessment. So you know how do you do causality assessment? Causality assessment. So there is Naranjo scale as well as WHO UMC causality assessment scale, Uppsala Monitoring Committee WHO UMC scale. So where you assess probable, possible, okay, causality assessment. If it's proven, then compensation has to be paid. Then plagiarism. Plagiarism is universal. It's there everywhere. You know that, right? So plagiarism and clinical research proposal. Yeah. So if this is proved, like for example, in a journal article, plagiarism is proved, they can retrieve the article, right? So it's a very serious issue. Even in this clinical research also, it may there can be breach in research integrity, okay, leading to plagiarism, and it will lead to the loss of intellectual efforts, right? And definitely it is a violation of the ethical principles. So with this, I just conclude my session on briefly about the basic ethics principle. Comprehensively, I will just try to explain about the ethical principles involved and the kind of challenges which will be posed to the ethics committee during clinical research. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to take. And I thank the organizers, organizing committee members, especially Dr. Jaikas sir from the Vinayaka Mission and Research Foundation for providing this opportunity to speak. I'm very delighted to address the gathering. It's a very huge gathering. Post-lunch session also I can see many of the participants, enthusiastic crowd here. I thank all the organizing members for providing the opportunity on this occasion. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, sure.
It's a nice presentation, ma'am. I think everybody will know about the IEC composition and the roles and responsibilities, everything. And the case scenario is excellent, actually. The only thing is, what are the challenges faced during the clinical trials in the context of India? Because globally, but in India, what are the challenges? Probably anybody would like to go for a clinical trials. So, in your experience, anything is there, Indian context? Yeah, clinical trials.
From the investigator team, hiring a competent coordinators, because a PI will be a clinician, they will have their clinical workload. Okay, they will initiate the trial, look into monitor the things, but at the ground level, collecting the sample, okay, taking care of the patient, the informed consent, each processes will be done by the coordinators. Getting a trained coordinators, experienced coordinators, good phlebotomists, all this matter a lot. Even there are very simple things, they make a difference in minimizing the risks and harm involving in a trial. Okay, then the identifying of the adverse events or essays which has happened. Many a times it happens like even the simple protocol deviations. These protocol deviations, they will be reported late. SAEs also, there will be late reporting. According to the NDCT guidelines, they have to be reported within 24 hours of the occurrence or, okay. But now it is changed, SAE within 24 hours of PI like recognition, okay. So earlier it was occurrence of SAE, now it is the PI recognition, means from the time the PIS came to know. It has to be reported to the DCGI in the DCGI SUGAM portal. So all those things, the filling up of the documents, reporting mechanisms, they have to be done very meticulously. The data entered, okay, data integrity, handling of the data, handling of the records, maintaining the confidentiality. These things are the very important tasks for the study team.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for clearly outlining the ethical challenges in clinical research. May I request Professor Dr. Sendil Kumar to present the memento to our speaker. May I also request Professor Dr. Arul, Deputy Director Research, to present the memento to our chairperson. Thank you, sir. Our next session focuses on the institutional journey in clinical trials, the transformation from academic intent to structured research execution. We are privileged to have with us Professor Dr. B. Jaikar, Director, Clinical Trials, Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, Salem. Dr. Jaikar holds a PhD from the Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University and brings over 4 decades of experience in pharmaceutical education and research. He has guided over 28 PhD scholars and 48 PhD researchers, published extensively and served in key national academic and regulatory bodies, including the Pharmacy Council of India. His leadership reflects the integration of academia, regulation and clinical research practice. Sir, we look forward to your address.
Thank you very much for your nice introduction. So far you have gone to many sessions and learn about how to go for clinical trials, how to start, how to end, and what are the various stages you have to come across, and what are the approvals you have to take, what are the challenges are there in the clinical trials. So all you have taught by many of our speakers. So now the topic provided to me is VMR of DU clinical trials, our transformative voyage. So this trial, this job regarding the clinical trials has been assigned to me by the university as a director clinical trials. Basically, like you, I am also a pharmacist. So I have started my career in pharma industry, and after post-graduation, I shifted my job to teaching, and I headed an institution from 1999 in Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, and followed by I was a registrar for about 6 years in the university. After my tenure for the 6 years, the Board of Trustees has assigned me a job. Basically you are a pharmacist, so you must have a very good contact with the pharma manufacturers. So we have 3 medical colleges, dental college and homeopathy college. Why you can try to bring out the clinical trials to the Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation affiliated institutions. Usually I used to take challenging jobs. I am not much inclined to the routine, boring job. Something to be a challenging job you have to take. So without knowing anything, usually when I was teaching, I used to teach about the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 trials and how the trials has to be done and what are the ethical practices you have to follow, all only in teaching. So immediately they have assigned the job to take up as a director in the clinical trials and do move with pharma industries. I was very much blank as a pharmacy graduate to go into it, but I had taken this challenging job and I started working. I had in touch with my friends in pharma industry and I am able to take up, discuss with some of the CROs. So these are the how this clinical trials has came into Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation Medical College institutions. So once I have taken the job as a director in clinical trials, once taken, I discussed with my friends and other things. Then I came across with the many CROs, and the first and foremost thing for doing any clinical trials, the minimum eligibility should be he should be a doctor, and then second one is he has to undergo good clinical practice training. So then I have been in touch with all 3 medical colleges and I have conducted the good clinical practice training to all the doctors. In our Pondicherry Arubadividi Medical College, I have conducted this GCP training about 101 faculty members, and then in Karaikal in 2003 120 faculty members, and in Mission Krivananda Variyar Medical College about 66 faculty members, and in Sankaracharya Dental College for 43 faculty members. I have done the training to all these doctors and certified that they are all eligible for doing the clinical trials. So these are some of the good clinical practice training programs I have conducted in our medical colleges. Followed by, then I started working with clinical research organizations to bring out the proposals for doing the clinical trials. For that, I have made an MOU with clinical research organizations. Today also, we have made an MOU with clinical research organizations, that is Nova Therapeutics from Hyderabad, so that we have collaborate with the clinical research organizations for doing the clinical trials. So for any medical college, for doing the clinical trials, they should have an institutional ethical committee, as discussed by my previous speaker. So these are the institutions we have approved ethical committee, so that whenever the proposals comes, this will be placed in this ethical committee for approval. Once the ethical committee approves the proposals, then we will start working for the proposal on the patients. So now the Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation is in collaborating with this 8 clinical trial organizations for bringing out the clinical trials. These are the CROs are providing the proposals, and we are working to carry out the proposals in these clinical research organizations. So, by working on doing the clinical trials in our medical colleges, in the year 2023-24, So we have got 12 clinical trials in the various organizations, and out of 12 clinical trials, 7 trials we are not able to take up because there is a lot of difficulties based on the availability of the faculty facilities in the hospital, patient load, and as well as many of the companies, they used to send the proposal, but after that they will not provide any response. So we have done, even then we have done in 2023-24 we provided the training to the faculty members, and then we have taken up 3 clinical trials started in the year, and then 2 clinical trials were under process. In the year 24-25, so the number of proposals we received has increased to 49 proposals. Under the 49 proposals, we are able to complete 8 clinical trials in our medical colleges, 5 in the dental college, 1 in the medical college, and 1 in Vinayaga Missions Medical College, Karaikal, and 1 in our pharmacy college about the phase 1 clinical trial. So these are the trials. That has been 8 trials completed in the year 2024-25, and then in the year 25-26, as of now, we have got 48 clinical trials, but 8 the clinical trial organizations. Out of 48, 29 we are not able to take up due to the lack of facilities and the eligible principal investigators. So now as of now, we have completed 3 trials, 1 from Vinayaga Missions Medical College, Karaikal, and 2 under Vinayaga Mission Shankaracharya Dental College. So these are the studies we have completed, and these are the trials. 4 trials are in progress going on in our 3 medical colleges with the principal investigators. So these are the clinical trials, they are in process. We have provided the principal investigators details to the companies, so we are waiting for hearing from them. Once they will approve the principal investigators, then we will start working all these clinical trials in all our 3 medical colleges. So this is our transformative that has been happened from the year 2023-24 to 2000 up to 2026. What I came across in the past 3 years is there is a great opportunity for the PharmD graduates. Many of the PharmD graduates are working in these clinical research organizations with a very high remuneration, and they have undergone this clinical trial trainings, clinical research training they have undergone. So my request to all the PharmD graduates, while you are doing a PharmD program, you also undergo the clinical research training, suitable training. And if you qualified in that, you will be having a great opportunity in working in the clinical research organizations, and also in future when you worked in some years in the clinical research organizations, and you will be having a great opportunity to start your own clinical research organizations in the future. So my humble request, get the training while you are in the studies, start working in clinical research organizations, and become an entrepreneur by owning a clinical research organization in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your institutional insights and experience. May I request Dr. R.S. Sanmagashwandaram, Director, Student Welfare, Vinayaga Mission Research Foundation, to present the memento to our esteemed speaker. Thank you, sir. We now move to the final scientific session of the day. It's a privilege to welcome Dr. P. Venkatesh, Managing Director, Nova Therapeutics, Hyderabad. Welcome, sir. I also welcome our chairperson, Professor Dr. Rajan Samvil, Director, Academics, Vinayaka Mission Research Foundation. May I request the chairperson to kindly introduce the speaker and conduct the session.
Welcome to the sixth session of the National Conference on Clinical Trials 2020, the next year. I am proudly introducing one of our alumni of VMRF-DU, Dr. P. Venkatesh, who is the Managing Director of Nova Therapeutics Private Limited, Hyderabad, a CDS CO approved BA/BE CRO with comprehensive phase 1 to 4 clinical trial capabilities. He brings over 24 years of experience across academia and pharmaceutical industry. An MBBS graduate from our Pondicherry University. He also holds a master's degree from Manipal Academy of Higher Education and a PhD in clinical research from Texila American University. With strong expertise in clinical research strategy, regulatory affairs, and operational excellence, Dr. P. Venkatesh is widely respected for his ethical leadership and contributions to advancing clinical research standards in India. With this small brief note, I request Dr. P. Venkatesh to proceed with the session. Thank you.
So good evening, all of you. Is this fine? So let me thank you first for inviting me to talk on the topic given now. So thank you for the Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation family. And I take this as a privilege to talk about the topic in front of the dignitaries and the young researchers. So what is clinical trial? A clinical trial will not begin with the patient first. So it starts with a question, why? And it does not end with the data. It ends with the impact you give to the society. So let me take you through the complete clinical trial life cycle, how it starts. And as we evolve into 2030, the clinical trials are going to change. I mean, from the traditional clinical trial, what we are doing now, and what is that we are going to do at 2030. So the topic is from conceptualization to the completion, where the design, conduct, analysis, and reporting of the trials happen. So already my introduction has been done. I'll walk you to the topic directly. So coming to the clinical trials, every clinical trial for a drug or a patient safety, the clinical trial is the backbone to make an evidence-based medicine. You just cannot make a medicine and give it to the patient. For every medicine to come out into the market, a clinical trial is mandatory. course, there are preclinical studies, the toxicology studies. For a drug to come out, there are multiple phases which they have to undergo, and since morning our speakers have explained you in detail. I was here for the previous two sessions, but the ethics committee and all, the details were given in very much this thing, and they were self-explanatory. But this is the topic which may happen in next 5 years. So yeah, I've taken good time. The shift to the model trial modes. What we are doing is, today is just a normal design of the study which we design and execute it. But going forward, there will be the adaptive designs, different digital tools are available for doing it, the modular designs. For now, let me take an example saying that if you design a study today, you'll have to just execute it and report to the regulatory. But in the adaptive trial, there are adaptive designs and modular designs are the ones which are going to come. Like every trial you begin, there are multiple approaches where you can do and where you can put different modules into the clinical trial and make it more effective. So coming to the rethinking trials for 2030, emerging challenges and technologies demand innovative designs. These are the designs which I am talking about. So the complete clinical trial life cycle starts from conceptualization to the data and submission to the regulatory. So coming to the conceptualization of the clinical trials, generally, I mean, for now it is with the trial what you do, but going forward, it is expected that all the stakeholders in the research will be there, even the patient. So this is what the next era of the clinical trials would be. So coming to the protocol design, as I said, the adaptive, modular, and digitally enabled protocols. For now, we just go with the simple design, a multi-center, open label, randomized trial. But going to the adaptive and modular designs, you'll have a different level of designs coming in the future with the help of all tools available. And the regulatory and ethical approvals. Going forward for now, like ethics committee approval, these are very rigorous. I mean, there are guidelines which will say you'll have to review the protocol for 21 days and give the approval, followed by taking the NOC for the particular study. It is a cycle of almost minimum of 90 days, 60 to 90 days. There are recent guidelines which are coming now, they are saying 45 days. It is not effective yet, but it is going to be effective soon, and maybe by 2030, something like once you decide with the go of a clinical trial, maybe just a week's time or 2 weeks' time with all proper details, you can get the approval. This is what we are going to see in the past. And maybe 3 years back, there were instances where the approvals were taking almost more than 3 months. So coming to the international trials, the domestic trials, a lot of clients went back. But now the scenario is changed, where even the regulatory is coming up with digital platforms, like one is Sugam. Initially, it was all through papers. People used to travel to Delhi, submit the applications, wait for the approvals. So 3 months, some took for 6 months also. But now, with the Sugam and all, even the regulatory is fastening up the trials. Initially, there was no phase 1 approval given for any of the client outside India. But now they have started giving the first in human trials, what we are doing in India. So yeah, that is pertaining to the regulatory and ethical approvals. Coming to the trial conduct and monitoring. So the current scenario of conducting the trial, there was one question before, like the challenges in the clinical trial, the patient recruitment. Besides the technical staff, the requirements, it is taking, I mean, of course, the approaches are different, how you conduct the clinical trial, starting from designing the protocol till the report preparation. The challenges are in the current day, the patient recruitment. Going forward, that will be normalize something like e-consenting, the patient directly sitting at home, or knowing about the trials. So these are coming in future, maybe in detail I will tell you. The data management and analysis, this is the only section where I see most of them have already evolved, coming to the eCRF. Even now, most of the studies are happening through the paper CRFs. But going forward, there are some institutions who are already following the electronic data capture, so that the time is reduced and the data integrity is also maintained. Yeah, you can fasten up the protocol preparation by the systemic review of existing evidences which are available online. Initially, if a medical writer is there, if he needs to prepare a protocol, he used to do it with the review of the book. But in the past, there was no literature available online and all. But coming now, the technology is enabled and the tools are there just to get the real world data which is already available, and it is becoming easy. Initially, it used to be around 1 month time to write a good protocol, but now it's just a matter of 2 to 3 days with a good design and availability of all literature, you can write a protocol. So understanding the standard of care and comparators, like these are the continuous data streams help tracking the treatment landscapes available. So it is becoming easy as days goes on. So sometimes you can even avoid the duplication. So coming to defining the objectives and endpoints, yeah, the primary and secondary. So now initially the designs were in such a way that, let's say, the different examples are there, I don't want to take, but when you clearly prioritize with the flexibility for the adaptive trial designs, it is very easy to conduct the trial with the proper primary and secondary objectives. Again, coming to the clinical, if you had to decide the clinical endpoint, initially there were not much data available. It was only the books with the limited publications were there, it was available. But now, coming to the digital, it is easy. Like even in conducting the trial, you can remotely review all the data which is there, like wearable watches, the digital pens, all these are coming. So the patient need not come on a daily basis or a weekly basis, which is making things easy, and the trial integrity is also maintained. So all these are there, which are already coming, and it will be more refined in coming days. Yeah, coming to the regulatory acceptability, yes. Once you design, initially, as I said, there was no phase 1 approvals at all. Of course, there were different terms used, like Indians are being used in different way, but it is required now. The regulatory has accepted. If you give a good justification with the preclinical, pre-toxicology and animal studies, they're accepting, and the phase 1s are being conducted now in India. These are the fundamentals. When you approach to the different trial designs, technically all were explained, but I'll say how you can reduce the time in these topics, like all the blended and hybrid designs, where the real world data is available. There are different parallel and crossover factorial designs. It can be made more effective to the adaptive and modular approaches. So coming to the adaptive designs, as I've explained, like it allows us to pre-plan with the modifications based on the data which is already available on internet and all. Like the examples of sample size estimation. Initially, we used to say 200 subjects. Once you take the approval, it will take a lot of time for you to go submit the amendments, take the reapproval and all. But now that is not the case. You design the trial in such a way that the trial is performed smoothly. Going forward, we have never heard about the platform trials, the basket trials, but going forward, these trials are going to come. Now it is only a conventional clinical trial with a specific design, but going forward, the basket trials where one study is there, where I'm trying to work on it, with one treatment module, you'll try to cure multiple diseases. So this can also be one of the trial model, like, so this is something like mimicking myself. All my digital data, all my lab reports, all the past data will be mimicked into the system, which is digitalized, and then, you know, the treatments can be modified for the precision medicine, which is going to be the future. So this is it there. A digital twin in clinical trials is a virtual model of a real patient or process built from health data, which is already available in the electronic health records, the genomics, the biomarkers, and the wearables. So by 2030, the digital twins in clinical trials are expected to simulate the patient responses, reduce the trial size and cost by acting as a synthetic control arm, speed up the drug development, improve patient selection, enable adaptive and hybrid trials. So let's see, the challenges will come, then come what are with the regulatory, where you can always overcome them with the proper justification and all. As I said, like, these are the different trials which are coming, which will reduce your timeline, the pragmatic, the decentralized and hybrid. The decentralized, nothing. Now all the trials, what we are doing are centralized. All the patients have to come to the hospital, they have to talk to the doctor, but the decentralized are coming up now. I would say 20% of the trials happening in India are now decentralized, but not for the complete trial. At least 60% of the visits can be reduced, which can be monitored from their home with a wearable watch or even through the WhatsApp calls. This is happening. I am doing for one of the trial, like monitoring their vitals on a daily basis. If they have to take a pill, we will say it on the camera. So these are happening, but going forward, it will happen more effectively. That is why we say the decentralized and hybrid trials, like using the digital tools, the telemedicine, and remote monitoring. So it will improve the patient access by having them continuing the study. So these are different approaches which will happen to reduce the sample size assumptions, the errors what are happening now. Going future, these might reduce the attrition and the dropout adjustments for the patients. You know, once you recruit the patient, you give the consent form, they are into the study, and it keeps changing. For the current, what we are facing is the recruitment. I don't see much dropouts because once you explain the patient and once they are convinced, it is something that they will continue the trial completely until and unless there is any foreseen events. And obviously the ethical balance is maintained by minimizing the patient exposure while maintaining the statistical rigor and prioritized through smart and trial-driven planning. So this is a very important step in any clinical trial. The conceptualization is mainly dependent on the protocol development, starting from the study rationale and the objectives. Like now, AI is coming, the real-world evidence studies, the data which are patient-centered, and coming to the eligibility criteria, the inclusive and flexible criteria guided by predictive analytics to improve the diversity. Initially, like let's say we were doing a diabetic trial. Most of them were focusing on only the fasting and the random sugar levels. Later on, after years, the HbA1c came into picture. And now the wearables are coming where you can monitor your blood glucose level on a daily basis for 14 days. And there are different devices which are coming up. So yeah, so all these are coming, going further, coming to the treatment and interventional details, the schedule of assessments, SAPs, something technically, which will be there. So, yeah, the regulatory landscape, what they are planning, as I said already, there are different rules coming. Initially, we used to follow the Schedule Y, but now it is NDCT rules for, that is the guideline and the law for the clinical trials, which is governed by the CDSCO. The DCGI sits there. We have the international guidelines, which are changing on a regular basis. The regulatory submissions and timelines are changing. Initially, it used to take 3 to 6 months, and for some, the approvals were also not given with no proper justification and all. But now, it is very much streamlined, and you can just now it is coming in 30 days. So yeah, the role of regulatory with the predictive modeling is something like we have to see how the days go. But a lot of new regulations for the AI, the data security levels are coming into picture. We have to see how the future evolves with that. And coming to the ethics, yeah, I don't need to go much into it because just before this we had a session on ethics committee, ethics in clinical trials. Yes, the informed consent process. Now it is all on paper. The patient should come, he should sit with the doctor, the interactions happen, they will have to explain in such details that the patient should have equal knowledge as the investigator. That is when they take the decision. And going forward, it is e-consent. There is already a e-consent guideline for the US FDA. We are yet to get, and we have to implement it. Going forward, e-consenting is something like the patient will already even read himself, understand himself, ask questions, and e-sign, so that he can directly participate into the study. And protecting the vulnerable populations is something is also coming up with the data and how to safeguard them. The risk-benefit assessment is also changing because now with the dynamic and the data-driven trials and evaluations, you can reduce the risk-based assessment. And ethical committee oversight, they can do it online also. Initially, they used to come once in a while to see the trial activities, but now even they can review online, they can ask for the data, which is transparent. And this is how the timelines are reducing going forward. Coming to the trial conduct, yeah, now it's a conventional paper and planning where, the site selection and initiation happens. They have to go meet the doctors and all. But now, post-COVID, where a lot of trials have been conducted in 2020 and 2021, they were all online. And, the approvals, that was the emergency approval which was given. Since then, we started adopting to the online activities, and, since then, everything is going fine. But now, more regulations are coming for the online this thing. So investigator qualifications and training, all virtual trainings are happening. So a lot of time. Initially, they used to conduct the investigator meetings outside, calling all investigators. So the planning of that would be very tedious. Like let's say a 300 patient study, doing it in 10 sites, all the investigators should come to one place. These were all difficult, but now, the virtual training and digital training is happening. Coming to the infrastructure and feasibility assessment, data-driven evaluations, and initially people used to go, the research associates and the study staff used to go see the data, talk to the doctors, how many patients are available, what are the capabilities there. But now it is all online, which is saving more time and the costs. Coming to the site initiation also, remote or hybrid initiation visits are happening, which will reduce the timelines and it is more effective. Coming to the standard operating procedures, yes, it's all digitally available. They can get trained. They need not go to the office. So post-COVID, things are changing. And in the next 4 to 5 years, we will see a lot of changes. And as I said, the patient recruitment is a very much challenge. Coming to this, where the participant recruitment and retention is very much important. The patient recruitment, centric recruitment strategies, starting from the designing of the trials, this will play an important role. Digital tools and social media, this is somewhere like you reach the data which is available online, You check with what kind of patients available in which hospital. All this will help you make the timelines less and do the trial in the right way, reducing the participant burden. Let's say once for a trial, for a vaccine trial, which they have to come for 1 year with 12 visits every month, and maybe initially 2 months, maybe 4 visits, just to give the dosages for every 21 days. After that, for 1 year follow-up. But now the remote visits are happening with the wearable devices. We can monitor their vitals, and also it has become easy retention through engagement and communication. So again, continuous feedback from the patients, the telephonic follow-ups, the digital apps where you can get different information. So this is how it is motivating the patients and also the staff who are participating in the study. So the trials now are increasing, and the 2030 is going to be very good. And coming to the data collection and management, the conventional trials, what we are doing now is mostly on the paper. 80% of the trials, what we are doing is mostly on the paper. Once you enter that, you have to make it enter online and make the analysis plan for that. But the digital CRFs integrated with electronic health records, it's making more easy for them. A lot of companies are coming, giving them the platforms, health platforms, where you can enter the data and you can just retrieve the data whichever is related to the trial. It is becoming easy now. Electronic data capture, I said. And the data quality, validation and integrity, yes. The paper, when you use the paper, there are a lot of errors, multiple entries needs to be made. There would be quality assurance, quality control check. But now once you get into the online mode, everything is there. Alcoa plus principle. This is another law where every clinical researcher should follow. Coming to the monitoring and quality assurance, yes. Initially, all the teams, different monitoring, the medical monitoring, study monitoring, the quality assurance monitoring, this happen all online, all on a visit basis. Like for every study, they used to go every month, every visit, the data used to be monitored. But now, by having the data-driven tools, everything is monitored online. So which will reduce the time, the cost and all, and also the integrity is maintained. On-site versus remote monitoring, the audit readiness. So coming to the safety management, yes, there is a Zugam portal where you'll have to report the events, any events, maybe the serious adverse events are the more prioritized, which needs to be reported immediately, and this is an online platform. Zugam is everything for the clinical research, starting from the approval to the reporting, getting this thing, even it has been given to all the CROs, the principal investigators, the ethics committees, where everything is monitored online, be it the adverse events, be it the safety reporting timelines, the the data safety monitoring boards. These all are happening virtual, so which things are getting easy. The pharmacovigilance also. So the status. This is one which is already there since the beginning. Coming to the data analysis and all, more streamlined processes happening for the data, results of the data generated. So coming to the role of artificial intelligence and digital health, as I was saying, it will optimize our protocol design, the site selection, and the patient matching for faster and more efficient enrollment, which will reduce the timelines of the drug development with the availability of wearables and real-world data, the predictive analytics, the forecasting the clinical trials, before when the protocol is designed. And coming to the challenges, it is always we have the bias, the validation of whatever systems, whatever softwares you use. The regulatory is getting very strict on that also. The trial closeouts and data log initially, which is all on paper, used to take once the trial is completed, it generally takes 2 to 3 months, like going to every site, reviewing the data, closing the database log. Now it is all online. So the review happens then and there, and the data is logged, where it will reduce straight away the 2 to 3 month time, which is after the patient enrollment. Yeah, the reporting trials, as they said, like CTRI registration, SUGAM approvals, everything is coming up. Initially, it was only through papers. I don't know how many would have reviewed that. It is only just saying few things and giving the approvals. But now we are getting around 10 to 15 queries for every protocol what you submit in SUGAM for the approval and doing the trial. Of course, with the limited timelines, but it is getting more streamlined, and the data, whatever is generated, is more towards the good outcome. Yeah, initially, I mean, we used huge challenges in writing a protocol with the little available literature or this thing, but now with the publications, increased publications and all, the conference presentations like this, the people are getting more information, and it is easy. The time is reducing, it is all available online, so it is becoming easy going forward, and future, yes, it will save a lot of timelines. Yeah, coming to the post-trial responsibilities, initially, I mean, we used to just do the trial, complete it, and submit the report to the trial. But now going forward, the access to the investigational products, some patients used to come and ask, please give us, even after the trial, though it is not approved, we want that drug, please give us, it is giving us good this thing. But ethically, you cannot give until and unless it is approved, only during the trial. So all these are coming up, the long-term safety follow-up and all. Initially, this was not there, but now with the pharmacovigilance and available data online, they can report even after the trial, and so, which is good. So the current day challenges for the clinical trials, yes, the rising cost and timelines, which you can reduce by innovative designs and all. The recruitment bottlenecks, this is a very much concern currently. I mean, whenever you go for the site selection, everyone would say, yes, we have very good patient database, I mean, the recruitment can happen. But this is a very challenging, and it is a bottleneck currently, where the completion of the trial is getting challenged. The regulatory complexity, as I said, once you got the SUGAM portal, it is becoming very easy, and going forward, now the 45-day time limit is coming. Currently, it is 90-day. So all these are happening. So yeah, the 2030 patient as a partner will always be helpful for us in designing the proper trial, the adaptive and the modular design, the digital first trials, which you can do it only through the wearables once you give the drug, the real world evidence studies, where you can just monitor the data with all patients over the wearables itself, and having regular digital connectivity. And it will also help us in getting us for the global trials. So yeah, the take-home message coming to the end. 2030, we are doing good trials now. It is increasing on a daily basis. I'm sure by 2030, India will be the leader in doing good research with huge number of global clinical trials. See ya.
Thank you, Dr. Venkatesh. It was a wonderful presentation. Congratulations. Thank you for enlightening about the present scenario of clinical trials and what we are going to have in future. You have explained the whole process, the different challenges, and also the role of AI and digital health in clinical trials. The floor is now open for questions from the audience. Do we have any questions from the audience? Okay. Sir, for the sake of the audience, I would like you to enlighten for example, like there is a research scholar who is doing a clinical trial as part of his PhD program. So, what are the tips you will tell him if he wants to register in the Clinical Trial Registry of India?
Yeah, for the young researchers, I mean, a very good question. Like, come out, like whatever thesis you are doing, just come out with a good concept, like whatever generics we have today, most of them are single tablet. Just think in another prospect, why don't we develop a bi-layer tablet? Why don't we develop a tri-layer tablet? You know, going forward, this is something the unmet needs. This is the good time. Now we are evolving into the real innovation. So try to come up with a good idea. Let's say why antibiotics are given for 5 days. Why not extended release daily 1 tablet into 5 days? Or else every 3 days 1 tablet. If anybody is coming out with these ideas, I, being an alumni of Vinayaka Missions and the managing director of NOHA, I will definitely help in taking it to a next level. Like you file your own patent, you conduct your own trial, I will help you for that.
Thank you for the information, sir. And one more thing about the status, like now, how do you rate the quality of clinical trials in India when compared to the global scenario?
I would say we are 100% giving the good quality this thing. If you go to the US, I have faced around 12 international audits, be it US FDA, be it EMA and all, even WHO for saying. They feel India is doing 100% better than the international standards.
Thank you very much. That is a very important information that India is doing good. And I also would like to inform all of you, today VMRF DU has signed an MOU with NOHA Enterprises. So all the research scholars and the research inclined faculty, please do utilize the opportunity. You can contact sir for taking support, and let us grow together and benefit the society. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for a structured and practical perspective on the clinical trial process. May I request Professor Dr. Rajan Samvil to present the memento to our speaker. May I also request Professor Dr. R. Kodai, Vice Principal, Vinayaka Missions College of Pharmacy, to present the memento to our chairperson. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. With this, we conclude the scientific deliberations of today's conference. We sincerely thank all of our speakers, chairpersons, and participants for contributing to a meaningful and an intellectually enriching conference. With that note, we now proceed to the validatory function. The QR code for the feedback link was displayed on the LED screen. Participants kindly fill the feedback for the scientific session. I repeat, the QR code for the feedback link was displayed on the LED screen. Participants kindly fill your feedback for the scientific session.
be owned by those who are powered by knowledge and wisdom that transcends time. There is one place where such wisdom is imparted, building individuals to build the world. Welcome to
Vinayaka Mission's Research Foundation, deemed university.
the university with 27 constituent colleges delivers cutting-edge knowledge across various disciplines: medicine, engineering, architecture, management, health sciences, industry, measuring up to 135 courses of study, all covered across sprawling and student-friendly campuses. At any given point, there are 15,000 students studying in the campuses. With the vision of creating medical professionals who can meet the needs of the Indian and international communities, Vinayaka Missions University has made a significant contribution to the field of medicine. 4 colleges and hospitals in Salem, Karaikal and Puducherry not only groom students into medical professionals, but also ensure easy and affordable medical help to the local population. Beyond medicine, the university is a multicultural hub that has students gaining expertise in a wide range of fields. Our engineering courses are designed to give students comprehensive knowledge in all contemporary fields of study. Engineering and technology apart, Vinayaka Missions University is known for its courses in dentistry, pharmacy, homeopathy, nursing, allied health sciences, physiotherapy, architecture, arts and science, and management. Our libraries are well appointed and are a digital and physical resource for both students and faculty. Linked to the central online catalogue, students have access to over 145,000 books, 1,000 journals, and over 5,000 audiovisual aids. The hostel facilities at the campuses spell absolute comfort and provide the right ambience for self-study for the students. Our students are thoroughly encouraged in sports and cultural activities. Besides successfully participating in inter-university sports contests, our students have also excelled in cultural meets and festivals.
Building individuals to build a world, building hopes and dreams on heart at VMU. Friends to stay, VMU. Enjoyment and learn and play, showing the way ahead each day at VMU.
Vinayaka Mission's Research Foundation, Salem.
The future will be owned by those who are powered by knowledge and wisdom that transcends time. There is one place where such wisdom is imparted, building individuals to build the world. Welcome to
Vinayaka Mission's Research Foundation, deemed university.
the university with 27 constituent colleges delivers cutting-edge knowledge across various disciplines: medicine, engineering, architecture, management, health sciences, industry, measuring.
I request Professor Dr. A. Rajan Samuel sir, Director Academics, to come to the stage. I request Dr. B. Jayagar sir, Director Clinical Trials, to take his place on the stage. I request Dr. M. Kumar sir, Principal VMCP, to take the stage. I request Dr. B. Arul sir, Deputy Director VMRFDU Research, to take the stage. I request Dr. R. Kodai ma'am, Vice Principal VMCP, to take her place on the stage. As the sun sets on a day filled with insightful deliberations, meaningful discussions, and academic excellence, we gather once again for the valedictory ceremony of the National Conference on Clinical Trials 2030, the next era. Today, we reflect not only on the sessions conducted, but on the knowledge shared and ideas ignited. To formally welcome this distinguished gathering for the valedictory session, I now invite Dr. R. Kodai Ma'am, Vice Principal, VMCP Salem, Organizing Associate Secretary of the conference, to deliver the welcome address.
Very good afternoon and good evening to one and all. Respected Controller of Examinations, Dr. Manivannan sir, respected Director Academics, Dr. Rajan Samuel sir, respected Director Students Welfare, Dr. Shanmuga Sundaram sir, respected Director of Clinical Trials and Organizing Chairman of this conference, Dr. B. Jaigar, and respected Deputy Director Research, Dr. B. Arul sir, and respected Principal Vinaya Missions College of Pharmacy, and the respected dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and my dear students, a very warm welcome to all for this valedictory function of National Conference on Clinical Trials. Very good evening to one and all. See, today, from the morning onwards, we are attending lot of sessions, and we have witnessed the enthusiastic participation, insightful discussions, and valuable knowledge sharing regarding the clinical trials. See, we begin this conference with the questions about the future of clinical trials, research, and now we stand here today with a clear roadmap. From the insightful keynote sessions to the spirited poster presentations, and the quality of discourse has been nothing short of exceptional. So all the sessions that will give you that will open our eye visions about the clinical trials, where to start and where to end, and what is the global scenario and what is our status in the regarding the clinical trials globally. So with this, once again, a warm welcome to everyone. Let us celebrate the successful conclusion of this intellectual feast. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. A conference is measured by the impact it creates. To present a brief report summarizing the highlights and achievements of today's conference, I now invite Dr. B. Arul sir, Deputy Director Research, VMRFDU, and Organizing Co-Chairman of this conference, to deliver the conference report.
Yeah. So, respected Chief Guest of this today's evening function, Dr. Manivannan sir, Controller of Examination, Vinaya Mission Research Foundation, and respected Dr. Shanmuga Sundaram sir, Director, Students Welfare, and respected Dr. Rajan Samuel sir, Director, Academics, and Dr. B. Jaigar, Organizing Chairman and Director, Clinical Trials, and Dr. M. Kumar, Principal, and also the Organizing Associate Secretary, and Dr. R. Kodai, Vice Principal and Associate Secretary for this conference, and all the dignitaries of the dais, and the students, delegates, and faculty members from other colleges. So very good evening to everybody. So at the end, so we came to a final stage, that is valedictory function. Okay. So this conference, that is National Conference on Clinical Trials, NCCT 2030, the next era, that is planned in very short period, and almost we have communicated to almost all the colleges, to both the medical, nursing, pharmacy, and dentistry and people. So we received the delegates from almost all the faculties, medicine, engineering, pharmacy, nursing, dental, physiotherapy. Likewise, we have received a lot of registrations. As a part of registration, I am happy to share that 960 registrations were made with payment Apart from that, some around 30 complimentary registration from the faculty side, that is sponsors, that is we received. So a total of, we have crossed 1,000 registrations. I thank you once again for the delegates and the other peoples, that principals of the constituent colleges, other colleges, for all of them, I'm saying, sharing the things. Second one, the number of papers. Almost 70 colleges from all over the India, they have participated. From the states of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Orissa and Madhya Pradesh. From that we have received a total of 1,000 registrations, and also total of 70 colleges were participated in this conference, one-day conference. Then 162 papers were presented, e-posters were presented during the conference in 2 sessions, the morning session and afternoon session, in 9 divided portions. Then the conference was inaugurated by our Vice President through N.V. Chandrasekhar sir, and also Dr. P.K. Sudhir, Vice Chancellor, and in the presence of, the Registrar, Dr. A. Nagappan, who welcomed the gathering, and the full address was given by the Dr. P.K. Sudhir, and finally the chief guest address by Dr. Kalachelvan. He is the principal director in charge then from the IPC, Indian Pharmacopoeial Commission. During his talk, he delivered about to envision that what clinical trials enterprise should look into the 2030 and define practical steps to make trials more efficient, person-centered and inclusive and integrated into the routine care. So after that, the 6 resource persons, Dr. Mujibuddin and Dr. Melvin Judge and Dr. Pratima, Dr. Venkatesh and Dr. Kalaivani. So all persons, they have delivered about that recent trends in the clinical trials. So it have that takeaway message, that is looking roadmap for the modernizing the clinical trial ecosystem, balancing high-level vision with actionable steps across design, technology, regulation and workforce engagement. So for the concluding moment for this enriching scientific deliberations, it is my privilege to thank all of you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. On this occasion, I invite Dr. B. Jaigar sir to share a few words with us.
Good evening to all. Respected Chief Guest of the valedictory function, Dr. Manivannan, Controller of Examinations, Vinayaka Missions Research Foundation, and other dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, and dear delegates. So it is immense pleasure to be with you all today, organizing these national level conferences on clinical trials 2030, the next era. So it came one fine morning. I was with our Honorable Vice Chancellor, and he has told that because we are doing the Silver Jubilee celebrations of the university, why can't you do a clinical trials conference? Okay, immediately he is having faith on me, and he has informed me that why can't you do it, so I have taken up. That is within a short period, within a period of 1 month period. So I have taken up, and with all your cooperation, it has been went on well. Immediately I have contacted all my friends through that. So the Dr. V. Kalachelvan, the chief guest, and also the other speakers, everybody, whoever I have contacted, immediately they told that we will come. We will come and we will participate in the national conference. So that has given much more confidence that okay, chief guest is ready, all our speakers are ready within a few days period of time. Then myself and Arul, we started working that, preparing the brochures and communicating to them, And initially we thought about 200 to 300 registrations will come, so we can do the conference well. But unimaginable response from the various educational institutions. Even today we got the registrations, about 100 registrations. The students and faculty came, so we are accommodated them and we have responded their interest and accommodated them and conducted the conference. So I thank all the institutions and as well as the industries, those who have responded to our invitation, and they have sent all their students for attending the conference. So next, I have to thank all my colleagues, the organizing committee. The organizing committee also, that even I have not asked anybody that whether you can able to work as an organizing committee. I have put all the members and informed them, you are all working with me for organizing this conference. Everybody has voluntarily, they accepted, sir, when you put, we will come and work as in the organizing committee. So I have to thank all the organizing committee members that they have accepted and they have done a job very well for the success of this conference. Then I particularly have to thank the principal and the faculty members of Engineering College, especially Dr. Rajan and Vice Principal Dr. Nitya. Both of them were with me and helped in all the ways in Engineering College campus for conducting this conference. And once again I thank all the volunteers and the organizing committee members for their tremendous job for conducting this conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I am glad to invite our COE, Dr. K. Manivannan, sir, to deliver valedictory address.
Very good evening. Good evening, one and all. This is a national conference on clinical trials 2030, the next era. Basically, I am mechanical professor, served as a controller of exam more than 12 years. Now I am completing second year. I am not related to this clinical trials, but they invited me for this valedictory function. Sir, you have invited the right person, because 2016 my wife, she did a clinical trial in glaucoma medicine. 2016 she was the only one person in Tamil Nadu selected by a company, and she did a clinical trial for glaucoma medicine in at present my daughter, she is in US, serving in Bristol Mayer in the oncology researcher. She is doing 3 clinical trials in China. So little bit I am related to this clinical trials, and I aware the importance of the clinical trials in the health science and humanity. Morning I came as a participant, not a participant, just visitor, to witness the inaugural function. Afternoon I was invited as a chief guest for valedictory function. As per Dr. Arul sir reports, more than 1,000 registration. It is a remarkable achievement. The director clinical trials, first trial he did is in first trial achieved 1,000 registration. It means that there is a lot of scope in this clinical trial area. More than 165 papers presented today. As a youngsters, you witnessed so many speakers presentation. Please take home message. You have learned so many things today as a through paper presentation and the keynote speaker address. Take a home message. There is a big scope in this area, in the clinical trial area. Please try to implement in your field and achieve your vision and mission. My best wishes to everyone, and I thank this time opportunity given to me to participate as a chief guest in this valedictory function. I thank all the organizing committee members, delegates, and student participant, each and everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's the time of presentation of memento as our token of love. I request Jaiga sir to honor our COE sir. Once again, I request Dr. B. Jaiga sir to honor RSS sir. Thank you, everyone. May I invite a few participants to kindly share their valuable feedback and experiences about today's conference. May I get any volunteers to share your feedbacks, please?
Good evening. I am Smita Sarathambi, Assistant Professor, Swami Vivekananda College of Pharmacy, Research Scholar of Vinayaka Mission under the guidance of Ms. Kodai ma'am. It's really a very good privilege and opportunity to stand here for such a nice, wonderful session. Clinical trials, we have been hearing about clinical trials from the day I did my B.Pharm, M.Pharm, Phase 1, Phase 2, but this is a totally different aspect. We never knew this side of it. Like we have now, we don't have this conventional ways are not there. We have AI for this. Nobody has to, no, we don't have to go and search for the patient. All the speakers opened our eyes into a different, totally different environment of clinical trials. And we realized that we are still small kids who don't know anything. From zero, we have to start again. There's so much to learn. Thank you so much for arranging such a wonderful session so we all could get a totally different aspect of clinical trials. So I'm just so happy that I could come here and spend the whole day here. Thank you so much, ma'am, for telling me to register for this conference. All the arrangements were well made, very well, and everything was, time management was pakka, no delay here and there. Only I think here now we have to wait for the certificate, that is the only delay. But it's fine. But thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you so much, sir.
Good evening to one and all present here, and my dear Vice Principal ma'am, Kodai ma'am, and my dear Principal sir, Kumar sir, and my dear Pharmacy Practice HOD sir, Dr. B. Arul, and Director of Clinical Trials, Dr. Jayakar sir, and my staffs who took me a class during the B.Pharm. First of all, I'd like to thank them. So the session we attended today, it's very good, and we have gained more knowledge about the clinical trials related to the ethical conference and regulatory inspections and transformation of clinical trials from their conceptualization to how it actually works in the practical, and it actually gained more knowledge to present there. And I feel proud to be the alumni of this Vinayaka Mission College of Pharmacy. I completed my B.Pharm during the year of 2024 and pursuing my MSc Clinical Research in JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research, Mysuru. Thank you.
Thanks to the Almighty God. Good evening, everyone, respected dignitaries, esteemed speakers, faculty members, and my dear friends. Myself, P. Vashni Abia, doing Form D 5th year from Batmadi College of Pharmacy, Dharmaburi. Thank you. On behalf of our college, Batmadi College of Pharmacy, subdegree group of institutions, we heartfelt thank you for inviting us to be a part of this great conference held on the topic Clinical Trials 2030, the next era. As a PharmD student, I thank the dignitaries and the esteemed speakers for giving their valuable knowledge and insights on the clinical trials, like how the clinical trials are conducted, analyzed, and how it is done, and helping us to understand how the clinical trials and clinical research are functioning beyond our textbooks. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. I thank the Vinayaga Missions Research Foundation. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So first and foremost, I thank my university, Dhanalakshmi Srinivasan University, who looking very forward to enroll in this particular conference, and the conference is like outstanding, I would say. As I'm being in a second year of pharmacy, I did not know what is clinical trials, like getting more updates, and although like 2030, I'm feeling very good, and yeah, feeling very happy, and thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you to the participants for your thoughtful reflections and encouraging words. Thank you. Now, I would like to request one or two representatives from the following colleges to receive their certificates, as I call out the names one by one. Please, I repeat, I request one or two representatives from the following colleges to get your certificates. First, and I request the dignitaries to issue the certificates to the participants. KMCH, College of Pharmacy. I request any one or two participants from that college. KMCH, College of Pharmacy. Next college, JKKM, TN Palayam. After JKKM, JSS Academy of Higher Education and Research, Mysuru. I request the participants to please come in these steps, please, in this way. After JSS Academy of Higher Education, I invite the representatives from Vinayaga Mission Sankaracharya Dental College. Vinayaga Mission Sankaracharya Dental College. Devaki Amma Memorial College of Pharmacy, Kerala. Devaki Amma Memorial College of Pharmacy from Kerala. I request the representatives to come to the stage. Devaki Ammal Memorial College of Pharmacy from Kerala. Is there any volunteers? Is there any participants, please? Next, Dhanlakshmi Srinivasan University, Trichy. Next of Dhanlakshmi, School of Allied Health Sciences, WIMS Campus. School of Allied Health Sciences, WIMS Campus. Next to that, Vinayaka Missions College of Nursing, Karaikal. Next, Vinayaka Missions Annapurna College of Nursing, Salem. Next college is Coimbatore Medical College. I request the representative from Coimbatore Medical College to get the certificates. Swami Vivekananda College of Pharmacy, Tiruchengood. I request the representatives to come forward from SSM College of Pharmacy. SSM College of Pharmacy, Jambai. Vinayaka Missions Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Salem. I request the participants from Vinayaka Missions Homeopathic Medical College and Hospital, Salem. After them, I call upon Nanda College of Pharmacy, E Road. Nanda College of Pharmacy, E Road. Next to them, Sri Vijay Vidyalaya College of Pharmacy, Dharmaburi. Sri Padmavat College of Pharmacy, Tirupati. I request the participants from Sri Padmavati College of Pharmacy, Tirupati. Next, Pachamuttu College of Pharmacy, Dharmaburi. I request the representatives from Pachamuttu College of Pharmacy, Dharmaburi. Next, RR College of Pharmacy, Bangalore. I request the representatives from RR College of Pharmacy, Bangalore. Sri Venkateshwara College of Pharmacy. Sri Venkateshwara College of Pharmacy. Vinayaka Missions College of Physiotherapy, Salem. I request the participants from Vinayaka Missions College of Physiotherapy, Salem. Next, EGS Pillai College of Pharmacy, Nagapattinam. I request the participants from EGS Pillai College of Pharmacy, Nagapattinam. Is there any participants from Vinayaka Missions College of Physiotherapy? Please come forward. I call upon Vinayaka Missions College of Pharmacy, Salem. Thank you, everyone. To express our heartfelt appreciation to all who contributed to the success of this conference, I now invite Dr. M. Kumar, Principal, Vinayaka Missions College of Pharmacy, Salem, and Organizing Associate Secretary of the conference to deliver the vote of thanks.
Dignitaries on the dais, of the dais. Very good evening to one and all. Today I feel great honor to stand before you to propose the vote of thanks in these valedictory functions. And my sincere gratitude to our Chancellor sir, Vice Chancellor sir, Pro Vice Chancellor sir, Registrar sir, for permitting us to conduct the seminar in this campus. Thank you for all. And first of all, I thank my heartfelt thanks to today's chief guest, Dr. Manivannan sir, Controller of Examination, for accepting our invitation and come over here and grace this occasion with us. Thank you very much, sir. And I thank our university officials, directors, Dr. Shanmugam Sundaram sir, Student Welfare, and Dr. Rajan Samuel sir, and Director Academics, for your valuable presence as well as act as a chairperson in this conference. Really, I thank you both of you, sir. And I thank our beloved speakers, all the speakers, for sharing their knowledge and expertise and insights to all our delegates. Really, I thank all the speakers, and also particularly thank the Mujibuddin. Even though he is in the Ramadan fasting, he delivered his lecture for 1 hour without taking water. Really, I thank all the speakers. Thank you all, sir. And I thank our Director Clinical Trials, Dr. B. Jager sir, who is the backbone for conducting this conference, and with his support we conducted this conference and make it success in a grand manner. And thank you very much, sir. And next, I thank all the organizing committee for your tireless effort and work and make this conference in a grand success. I really thank all the organizing committee members. My heartful thanks to all. Thank you one and all. And I thank our Vinayaka Mission Kribanandawar Engineering College Principal sir, Sasikumar sir, Vice Principal Nithya Madam, and Dr. Rajan sir, and for your valuable support to conduct this conference in a grand success. Thank you and all. And I would thank our volunteers for your tireless effort and work. Because of your support, we made this conference in a grand success one. And last but not least, I thank all the volunteers for your active participation in this conference. Thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request the participants to stay in your place. As we conclude this academic celebration, let us stand united in respect for our nation. I request everyone to kindly rise for the national anthem.
मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
I request all